came across the other day. This was from the Lawrence Livermore Laboratories. It says, evolutionary paths to new therapeutic drugs as a wide assortment of other enzyme products have been created through, of all things, intelligent design. And the headline is Intelligently Designed Molecular Evolution. You can have change over time that is guided or directed by intelligence. What our method of analysis does, following Demski and others, is enable you to detect the products of intelligence in the echo of their effects.
Yeah, but scientists don't design, then humans can build things. I mean, the pseudomine was intelligently designed, I guess. I mean, but what we do say is that the pattern of life that we see and the way we understand life can be understood through scientific methodology.
Well, you're defining science as excluding intelligent causation by definition, yet that is part of the reality of our experience, that minds produce certain sorts of effects. And what we are seeing is some of those effects in the cell.
Let's try to get another question. I think you disagree on that one. This is another one for both of you. What is the relationship between evidence and proof? And how does this relationship bear on intelligent design and the scientific community's critique of intelligent design? Let's let Steve answer first this time.
I think Peter and I will agree on this. Science does not provide us with knockdown, drag-out proof in the mode of, say, medieval philosophers were seeking. Rather, what we have are competing explanations of phenomena, and we usually, in science, try to make an inference to the best explanation, whereas, again, best is adjudicated by our knowledge of the cause and effect structure of the world. So when I have formulated scientific arguments for the theory of intelligent design, I have done them using the same method of reasoning, the same method of study that Darwin himself used, which was sometimes called the method of multiple competing hypotheses in our primary training in geology, or the idea of making an inference to the best explanation. So we're trying to develop our case for design based on standard methods of scientific reasoning and based on scientific evidence that we observe.
Peter, the relationship between evidence and proof.
Well, as again, there's no capital T. Ben Kerr here, Carl Bergstrom, I was lucky to have just some great colleagues in the last couple of days, and we talked about this. I think I learned more from talking to these guys than having a long time. But science isn't about a capital T truth. I mean, we really thought that we understood the way that physics worked. I mean, we went back to Newton. Newton had explained things so beautifully. And then we had to discard most of it when we understood more, saw more, got more facts. And Einstein came along. And because of this, we had to discard an awful lot of Newtonian mechanics. Science, we could have said, say in 1700, that we had the truth, capital T, on physics, but science doesn't work that way. Somebody else is going to come along and probably displace Einsteinian business. Things change. But what you cannot do is go to the supernatural, because every aspect of science can only deal with the natural. The supernatural is required for intelligent design.
Steve, you guys don't like that phrase, supernatural, do you?
No. The methods of design detection, and I would encourage people who are astute mathematicians and scientists to look at Demski's work and the design inference. The kind of argument that I've constructed from information is based on our knowledge of what intelligent agents do.
But what am I missing?
And so we're not claiming to be able to detect a supernatural intelligence, but rather intelligent simplicity. One of Demski's key points in the first chapter of the design inference is that we detect the action of intelligence all the time. In cryptography, in forensic science, in archaeology, in anthropology, even in trade fields like insurance fraud detection, minds are able to recognize the products of other minds. That's part of being a rational individual. And what Peter is suggesting is that we should exclude from science the possibility of intelligent causation as a methodological principle. When we want to be open to wherever the evidence leads, we think science is about seeking the truth, no holds barred, and being open to whatever type of cause best explains the evidence.
Okay. Let's let Peter respond to it. Is that what you're saying? Is that,
what's the question?
When you were talking about that you think it should exclude the possibility.
Yeah, again, science can explain every aspect of biological structure that we have looked at. Well, not every. We've got lots of mysteries that are still not explained, but there's not yet been one single one that we say cannot be attacked or is not being attacked or is not capable of being attacked through scientific methodology, whereas science cannot attack your sense of an intelligent creator, an intelligent designer, an intelligent science can't get at that. It's just not graspable to us, and therefore that makes your explanation not scientific.
Peter, if that were true, then 2 weeks ago in Science magazine there wouldn't have been 2 articles which purported to have refuted Behe based on experimental research. Clearly people are taking up intelligent design hypotheses and they're testing them and attempting to refute them. We didn't agree with the refutation. We thought it was a weak one.
This is apples and oranges.
No.
No, Behe is looking at biological structures, and he's saying that this thing just cannot work in such and such a way. So there's lots of testable ideas that you can look at. What we're saying is the overall arching aspect of your point of view is that there is a designer out there. How do we get at that designer? I go back to my first question to you. What test test would you make up to show you that your whole idea is wrong?
I think the first test, the test is, let's go to some of the simulation experiments that you and I both are going on with RNA World. If someone can get RNA to self-assemble, to solve the sequencing problem without intelligent design, I will resign the Discovery Institute.
And I'm going to get you to resign. Everybody, we heard that. These experiments are taking place right now at Harvard.
There's a reason they call it ribozyme engineering.
No.
Okay, let's try to get some more questions in here. Steve, this one is for you. Please describe one experiment.
I got a salary for you.
Please, Steve, please describe one experiment that demonstrates the validity of intelligent design that has been documented in a peer-reviewed scientific paper and whose results have been reproduced by non-believers in intelligent design.
What was that again?
That was a mouthful.
I didn't quite hear it.
Did you hear that again? Please describe one experiment that demonstrates the validity of intelligent design, has been documented in a peer-reviewed scientific paper, and whose results have been reproduced by non-believers in intelligent design.
Well, there's a lot of conditionals there.
Yes. There's a high standard, but I think that's the question: is has it met that standard?
That's why they call it science classes. It is hard.
Well,
go ahead, Steve.
There's some very good scientific work going on, specifically with respect to this question of Behe and Miller, as to whether co-option or Behe's original design hypothesis from reducible complexity is correct. And there's a key question: which of these two systems is primary? And there's a lot of experimental ways to get at that question. And that work is ongoing right now. So that's a testable hypothesis. That work is not yet in a peer-reviewed journal, but other peer-reviewed publications supporting intelligent design have already been published. There's a binder in the back. You can leaf through it if you're interested.
Let me just inject one thing on this peer review thing that we talked about a lot, and it comes up a lot. And there's a piece from the trial where they talked about this.
Dover.
Yes, Dover, the trial where a federal judge ruled against the teaching of intelligent design. And it comes up in several places, I'm sure, as you know, in the transcripts about what exists in terms of peer review. And this has been a real hard thing for me to kind of get my head around. Is there or is there not? And here's the passage that I think is telling. And Professor Behe's on the stand, and he's asked, you've argued, now you have never argued for intelligent design in a peer-reviewed scientific journal, correct? No, I argued for it in my book. Not in a peer review, no. And in fact, there are no peer-reviewed articles by anyone advocating for intelligent design supported by pertinent experiments or calculations which provide detailed, rigorous accounts of how intelligent design of any biological system occurred. Is that correct? That is correct, yes. So that's Professor Behe, who's, the best known, I suppose.
I dispute Mike's answer there.